If you're learning Spanish right now, or if you're a Spanish speaker, you've probably heard the words SESEO, CECEO, and DISTINCIÓN being thrown around when it comes to the Spanish lisp conversation. And I'm here today to explain to you what are the differences between these and what does this mean for the Spanish language. SESEO, CECEO, and DISTINCIÓN all deal with the pronunciation of the sounds S, Z, CI, and CE in Spanish. And how you pronounce these sounds determines whether or not you ceseas, ceceas, or if you use distinción. First, I'm going to start out with the version of Spanish that I speak, which is SESEO. SESEO basically just means that the S, the Z, the CI, and the CE sounds all are the same. So if you see this word, you would say césped, not césped. If you saw this word, you would say zapatos, not zapatos. A fun fact about SESEO is that it's actually so popular across most of the Spanish-speaking countries because the first Spaniards that came to Latin America cesearon. Because they were all from Andalusia and Canary Islands, which were places that in that time were the only ones who cesearon. Next, let's move on to distinción. This is what most people refer to, annoyingly enough, as the Spanish lisp. By the way, that is not a lisp. Okay? It's just a pronunciation rule that's actually the older version of Spanish. Distinción, aka distinction, is basically just making a distinction between the sounds S, Z, CI, and CE. So this word would be césped, cine, zapatos, gracias. But the S sound still exists, right? Like in gracias, the S at the end is still an S, right? People who use distinción would make a difference between these two words. For example, casa and caza. I would call both of these casa. Now, what is CECEO with two C's? CECEO, which sounds pretty funny when you say it like that, is the linguistic phenomenon where some Spanish speakers, pretty much only people in rural Andalusia, pronounce all of these sounds like th. So this word coser and this word coser, both of them they will pronounce like cocer. Or like the word zapatos might sound like zapatos. This is how when people make fun of the Spanish accent, like from Spain, they pretend that they're actually talking with CECEO, but in reality, most Spanish speakers from Spain use distinción or SESEO. So yes, is there a Spanish lisp? No, you should be calling it distinción or CECEO. And why did the multiple versions exist? Basically, some Spanish speakers decided they wanted to make it easier on themselves, and some decided to keep it the old way. ¿Cuál acento prefieres tú y por qué?